After I spoke with Tony Stark, me and my wives went to a nice hotel room where I made love to all 5 of my beautiful wives in every sexual position. Jerry Dandridge made love to me without feeding on my blood for the first time. She didn't bite me during sex, and I always made sure to use my powers so I didn't get my wives pregnant again. Unlike ordinary vampires, I am very fertile, and so are my wives, and our children are born and they all age to become adults in days, not months or years, but all our children become highly capable and intelligent adults within days from birth, not years. And unlike ordinary humans, we all use supernatural magic to make real money appear out of thin air. My kind can do this naturally, of course, especially since I'm a type of powerful blood god, and me and my wives have been to many different universes where we absorb the blood and abilities of many bad people, including Molecule Man. That's right, me and my wives met different versions of Molecule Man before we all came to the MCU Earth, and we drank their blood and we gained all the abilities of Molecule Men, whose blood we all drank, and because of this we are all now completely overpowered and we can do anything and everything now. There's absolutely no limits to our powers because Molecule Man can make anything happen with his powers. Fundamentally everything is made of molecules and atoms, so when someone is able to completely control all matter and molecules, they will have all the powers to create anything and do whatever they want, even create worlds and completely heal any human and even give humans superpowers, and that even includes making real money like $100 bills and all that. And since I have omnipotent intelligence and knowledge, I always know how to make real money, so it's easy. And yes, naturally when another vampire drinks my blood, they too gain all my knowledge. Enough said, really. And then eventually Tony Stark called me and he asked me for help with some projects, and I helped Tony Stark make his new element Badassium for his arc, but I also helped him make 2 new sets of Iron Man armor only known to me and true fans of Marvel Comics. I made Tony Stark the superior Iron Man armor, and I also made him the bleeding edge Iron Man armor, and both of his suits are powered by a new element I designed called Eternium, a very rare element that's actually found on every Earth. And then I also taught Tony Stark how to make every super soldier serum, and then I made the perfect Golden Sentry serum along with the peak health serum, and I injected Tony Stark with both of them, and instantly Tony Stark had healed his entire body, and he actually pushed the grenade shrapnel out of his chest, and then his eye pupils glowed bright gold, and then his eyes turned black, and the perfect sentry was born in this version of Tony Stark. And then Tony Stark passed out, and I picked him up and I carried him to his bed after he passed out, and when he woke up he saw a wrist-mounted computer and gauntlet on his arm with a sleek design that's also more intuitive in design to a smartphone. I gave Tony Stark my invention, a first divine metal nanite gauntlet that has the powers to do anything and everything. Even when Tony Stark doesn't have his armor, he will always have the wrist-mounted computer gauntlet I created for him. And then Tony Stark woke up and he looked at his wrist-mounted computer and he loved everything about it, and he asked me, "Did you make this, Charlie?" And then I said, "Yes sir, I created it with my powers." And then he asked me, "Can this technology be replicated?" And then I said, "Yes, but it will be very difficult for the people in your world to copy that type of metal and technology." After that, Tony Stark became my best friend, and I had essentially saved Tony Stark from his tragic fate in the future, and I made sure that not even the Infinity Stones could kill him because he has actual superpowers akin to Superman and even beyond the powers of Superman. Yes, I know that the Sentry, especially if you take into account the Void and the complete version of the Sentry, the one that combined the 2 parts of the Sentry into one very powerful being, I know Sentry is definitely more powerful than Superman, and Superman doesn't have the powers of a billion exploding suns. If anything, he has the powers of one sun, just one, and it's been proven many times in the comic books. Anyone else on Superman's level or even surpassing his level of powers can make him bleed or even injure him, and Doomsday is a perfect example of all this, along with other beings like Darkseid. In the comic books, Superman can be hurt by someone equal in power to him, and Sentry meets all those requirements and criteria, especially a perfect Sentry that has no flaws or drawbacks. Anyway, after I helped Tony Stark, he easily defeated Obadiah Stane, and he even captured him and sent him to prison for the rest of his pathetic excuse for life, and I worked with Tony Stark and Phil Coulson to help them.